Hey,
Hey!
what do you want to eat?
Something yummy.
Okay.
All right, we heard the wife. She said she wants something yummy to eat. So I figured, why don't we go ahead and cook up one of my favorite recipes from my home country, and that is Taiwanese Gua Bao. It's slowly braised, melt in your mouth pork bellies, sliced up and placed between fluffy, pillowy Chinese steamed buns. All this talk is making me hungry. Let's go get this done. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get a pot, you want to flip it, just like I did, onto the stove. And be cool about the flip. Alright, and so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to blanch our pork bellies. We're going to add about 4 cups of water, or however many cups of water that you need to really cover the pork belly when it's in the pot. So what blanching does is it helps get rid of the gaminess of the pork. It gets rid of that flavor that you taste when you're at a barn and you see pigs. And it also gets rid of like impurities from the pork. What we're going to do next is we're going to add a tablespoon of kosher salt, 3 slices of ginger, 2 garlic cloves mashed, and 1 spring onion chopped and sliced. And then we're going to go ahead and cover the lid and let it come to a boil and simmer for about 5 minutes. And once that 5 minutes is over, now you can see all that scum and impurities that we're talking about that is floating up to the surface. And we're going to go ahead and take that off the heat and drain it. Okay, so next we're going to start to sear the pork with some aromatics and add about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 3 cloves of garlic mashed, 3 slices of ginger, and 1 spring onion cut up and halved. And we're just gonna let that saute by itself about a minute. Okay, so once the minute is over and we start smelling the fragrant aromatics of the Chinese Holy Trinity, we're gonna go ahead and add our pork belly to sear it and give it some more flavor. And we're just gonna go ahead and let it sear on its side on medium heat for about 3 minutes each. And then you wanna go ahead and flip it to the other side. Be fair with it. Okay, so what we want to do next is we want to add a 1/3 cup of Chinese cooking wine. And this is one of my favorite parts of cooking, where you add alcohol to deglaze a pan. Like, something about that is just so satisfactory. I don't know. I feel like there's some philosophical analogies that you can kind of pull out of that. But let's get back to the recipe. Okay, so now we want to add our mixture of soy sauce. And so we're mixing with 4 tablespoons of light soy with 4 tablespoons of dark soy. And then we want to add about 3 cups of water, or just enough to make an Olympic-sized swimming pool for our pork belly. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel, 2 tablespoons of Chinese 5-spice, 2 Star Anise, 2 small cute little cinnamon sticks, 2 or 3 bay leaves, and then we're going to go ahead and add about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And yes, I know that brown sugar is not like authentic, and that you're supposed to use Chinese rock sugar, but I was at the supermarket and I forgot it, and I'm human and I make mistakes, and I have to deal with it and use brown sugar instead. We're going to go ahead and add the lid to the top and let it come to a boil, and we'll simmer that for about 2 hours. Okay, so while that's simmering, we're going to go ahead and try to make our own fluffy buns. You can go to your local Asian market and hopefully find this in the freezer aisle, but if not, we're going to make our own today. Okay, so let's get a mixing bowl, and then we're going to go ahead and add about 1.5 cups of flour, all-purpose, add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 3/4 teaspoon of instant yeast. And give that a little mixy mix. Let that combine together. And we're gonna make a little well. Next, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon and 1/4 of oil, and that could be vegetable oil. And then just keep mixing that. Mix it real good so that it's clean, it comes off the bowl easily. Flour the surface of a table. And we're gonna go ahead and work on that dough for about 5 minutes. Just kind of really kneading it and activating it and giving it love. Okay, so after you do that for about 5 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and put that back into the bowl and cover it with a damp towel or cheesecloth and let that rest for an hour. 1 hour. Okay, so the pork belly is done, so let's check on it. And oh my goodness, would you look at that? Can we just stop and just appreciate that for a little bit? Like that's just a thing of beauty, man. Like that solves all the problems in the world right now. So take that off the heat and set it aside. Oh, and save the braising liquid. And now we're gonna go back and take a look at our dough. And would you look at that? It poofed up a bit. Okay, so take that out of the bowl and we're gonna go ahead and knead that for another 5 more minutes. And the purpose is just to really get the air bubbles out that had formed while it was rising. Okay, so next we want to do is we want to flatten it out, and you can use your rolling pin or a wine bottle or like a baseball bat or something that's round and cylindrical. It doesn't matter, you do you. And we want to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then once it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, we want to go ahead and drizzle some vegetable oil on the top and spread that over evenly on the surface. And once that's nice and oiled, we're going to go ahead and cut circles out of this. So I'm using a mug that's about 5 inches in diameter. And then you want to go ahead and take your knife and just cut alongside of it. So if you have any pieces of scrap dough, you can actually combine them and roll them out again to make more. So what we want to do now is we want to fold them in half. And this is where the oil comes into play, as it allows it to not stick to each other. And then take a rolling pin and just give it a light little roll from the edge to the edge. We're gonna go ahead and let that rest for about 3 more minutes. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and take that nice pork belly that we have and slice it up. And the thickness of the slices don't really matter much. It's all preference based, but I would highly recommend at least making it 1/2 inch thick. So now that the buns have rested a few more minutes, we're gonna go ahead and steam that for about 10 minutes. And look at that, look how beautiful and soft and fluffy they look. Those are like amazing just by themselves, to be honest. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a pan and put some oil in it and take the slices that we just cut up and saute them for a little bit. We're just gonna sear them really quick. Man, look how nicely seared that looks. But we're not done yet. We're gonna add that braising liquid from before. And oh man, look at how good that looks right now. And make sure both sides of the pork is generously coated with that sauce. We're gonna go ahead and make 2 different types of Gua Baos. And the reason for that is we're gonna make 2 different types of toppings. One is the authentic version, and that's with the Chinese pickled mustard greens. And the other is an alternative version. And so the alternative version is sauerkraut. Trust me, this thing is actually surprisingly good with a Gua Bao, and it works really well. Don't knock it till you try it. Okay, and that's it, our Taiwanese pork belly Gua Bao, one with traditional Chinese mustard greens, and the second with the alternative sauerkraut. And let's go see what the wife says.
So that's the traditional. Mustard greens, pickles. You want to go ahead and try the alternative sauerkraut one?
Yes, please.
For those that can't get a hold of Chinese mustard greens.
That is so good. They're both so good.
So the sauerkraut works?
It definitely works.
Nice. What's the word?
Yum.